We're not gonna lie, Blickman sent us this product in exchange for a review video. And as the beer gods are our witness,
we're gonna make this video as honest as possible, because I fucking hate salesmen. But if you guys are in the market to buy more t-shirts that you'll never wear, be sure to check out homebrewforlife.com. Our t-shirts are 100% chill, barrage, organic, and cage-free. homebrewforlife.com. All right, here we go. Fake titties and nose beers, baby. Motherfucker said ice cream. You're on the mic. Am I wearing the thing? I don't think I'm a rapper. I promise. I just sweat. It's a sweatband. It's hot in my garage. These electric stainless steel brew systems are essentially brew in a bag. BIAB. And they are they're getting popular. They're getting more and more popular. We brewed kettle sours on a Grainfather before, and it worked super well. Grainfather is kind of like the I think Grainfather was like the leader of the movement, like the 5 or 6 years ago. I think they kind of had the market. They could kind of started it. I think everybody's system's kind of a template off the Grainfather. People saw the Grainfather. They saw, what do we don't like? Let's try to make it better. Let's try to make it cheaper. Let's see how it compares. Step 1. What's included in our ANVIL Foundry 10.5 gallon box? Step 2. How to assemble this modern day warlock of a machine. Step 3, we're going to do it all. Mash in, Vorloff, sparge, bring to boil, chilled to a pitching temperature, and how to clean. Step 4, and lastly, we're going to give our final review. We're going to see how much we vouch for this thing or how much shit we're going to talk about it. So what's in the box?
What's in the box?
Boil kettle. Double wall installation, which is awesome, so you don't have to buy any of those optional jackets that the other brands sell. The good thing about the ANVIL Foundry that I noticed straight off the bat is that they include pretty much everything that you need. Some of their competitors, the all-in-one electric brew systems, there's like all these little optional like hose clamps and jackets and just other hardware, small hardware and stuff like that. And I noticed straight off the bat that ANVIL includes all of that. They're not trying to make a $20 purchase on a piece of metal that's that big or something. Digital temp control. Don't take this digital stuff for granted. I remember back in the day when they used to look like this. And also I think they sent us version 2 of the ANVIL because on the box and manual, the temp control is on the bottom. But the one they sent us, it's raised up to make my life easier. The manual says the grain capacity is 16 pounds, so you're good for making barley wines, imperials, beers that will guarantee that you're going to owe some apologies in the morning. On and off switch is right here. There's an option to go to 240, although I'm not too worried about it. I'll probably always have mine at 120. And at the end, I'll talk more about like natural gas versus propane versus electricity and your bills, pros and cons of having gas versus electric. I'm burping off coffee and water right now. I love how this kettle has the volume etched into the steel so you can always see how many gallons of water you have in. Thermometer's on the bottom. I actually calibrated it last night and it's spot on. Stainless steel chiller, 3/8 inner diameter, I believe. 3/8 inner diameter and 28 feet long. This is what I'm talking about. Like this stuff comes with like the vinyl tubing, the garden hose adapter, and the hose clamps are all included. It makes life nice. The grain basket, this is where we put all of our grain in. I like how it has the holes on the side of it too, not just the bottom. And the handle, it comes attached. Here's our basket support ring. And I really like how it's not welded to the kettle. It's easy to take out and clean. I'll probably never take this thing out unless I am cleaning it. Valve and dip tube assembly looks pretty straightforward. Now here's the optional recirculation kit that I highly recommend picking up as well. Unless you have, a fish pump or you already have, a couple brew pumps. I think I have 3, but if you don't, they sell this for an extra $100 and the pump itself, a fish pump you're going to buy off Amazon is going to be about 40, 50, 60 bucks. And then they're going to, silicone, they send 4 feet of silicone hose. What's silicone? I don't even know. I buy it in bulk. But I vouch for this. And then the perforated disc, which is going to be used for your sparging and recirculating. If you do have a pump already, you can buy this on their website for 30 bucks. But I think for $100, this is a really good deal. But I like how they give you that option. Like you may not need this. Instead of just building it into the machine, like, you know, an integral part of it, and just, you know, jacking the price up, they at least give you the option. Some plastic hose clamps that I've never seen before, but it looks like I'm absolutely going to love, because half the time I'm using hose clamps, I cannot find a flathead for the life of me. So that's what's in the box. Let's put this thing together.
All right, explain this to me like I'm a 2-year-old.
You got it, Denzel, you sweet baby boy. All right, let's get everything out of the box and let's strip it down. And a lot of this stuff is already put together, like the valve and the rotating dip tube. All I gotta do is wrench on the washer on the valve nut to the valve. Anvil did a great job with the instruction manual, and I also found it online. It's none of that IKEA shit where you build something out of fake wood and then when you're done with it, you have like 10 or 12 parts left over, just to confuse the hell out of you. Everything that you have here is accounted for and you need it. There's no spare parts. Gonna get the pump going first. Let's cut 1 foot off our 4-foot hose and connect it to the front of your pump. Your pump isn't built in, so it's gonna need its own electrical outlet. 120, obviously. These are what all the white plastic hose clamps are for. Now connect your 3 feet of hose to the side of the pump and the other to your stainless return tube. I forgot to mention this earlier, but it comes as part of the recirculation kit. Okay, cool. Now that our pump is ready, let's fill our mash or kettle. I don't really even know what to call this thing, but let's fill it up with about 6 1/4 gallons of water. Click on the power, crank up the heat to 160 Fahrenheit. You know why it's Fahrenheit? 'Cause this is America. You don't need a tutorial on this temp control. It's the easiest thing in the world. I always have the power set to 100 degrees. Now I'm gonna start the timer on this thing. Now's a good time to put on our basket support. It's cut at one end, so it gives you some give. It gives you a little, press it together and it will fit nice and snug right on top of the installation jacket. And let's put the lid on to speed up the heating process. Now while our strike water is heating up, this is a good time to weigh out our grains. I'm just gonna do about 9.5 pounds approximately. We're gonna focus on the system and not the recipe. So don't worry about the grain bill, the hops, the water, the yeast. I'm gonna grind it up. And if you wanna watch my video on homebrew grain mills, the do's, the don'ts, how I use mine, I'll have a link to that right here and in the description below. So it does take a while to heat up. I forgot about this. I haven't used the grain father in a while. At 37 minutes in, we're only at 121 Fahrenheit. It does have the 240 option, but I don't have an electric stove or an electric dryer in my apartment, in my shitbox. It's gonna be a little bit tricky for me. But what I can do is I can fill up my kettle in the morning and just turn it on and set it to 160 so it's ready whenever I'm ready to brew. The manual says don't leave this thing unattended. I totally understand that's for liability purposes, but it has temp control. That's why you leave it unattended. All right, once we hit our strike temp, let's toss in our grain basket. Turn it at a 45-degree angle so it fits inside our support ring. Now let's fill up our grain basket with your milled grain and give it a good stir for a few minutes. Give it a solid 15 minutes at resting match, and now the pump comes in. Recirculation or voorlafing. We're gonna do this for another 15 minutes. And if the flow is too aggressive, just turn the valve and decrease the flow. 15 minutes rest mash, 15 minutes voorlafing. See, the thing about these all-in-one brew systems, they're only all-in-one if you don't sparge. And I highly recommend sparging or your efficiency won't be as high. And as soon as you start mashing in, start heating up your sparge water. Fill up a few gallons to 170, and now it's back to Old Faithful, Mother Gravity. And I'm using the silicone that the Anvil has provided. The perforated disc rests perfectly on the indent of our grain basket. And appreciate this shot. This is the Sony Zeiss 55 milliliter 1.8 aperture that my buddy lended me, and I gotta give it back to him on Sunday. Sparge until you get your 6 or your 6.5 gallons of wort, and then just bring it to boil. You know what to do from here, fam. Okay, but I want to test out this chiller that the Anvil has provided. Here's how I chill every single time. I always fill this thing up the night before, maybe 2 nights before, and it's 25 pounds of solid ice. This cooler is the best thing that I have in the entire world. It holds up to 60 quarts, it has wheels, it's like 25 bucks on Amazon. I'll post a link in the bio. I bring this thing everywhere. Oh, dude. Break my camera? Now let's take our adapter and connect it to our pre-chiller. The pre-chiller is 1/2 inch, FYI. Put on the plastic tubing, let's put it in our cooler, and let's fill it up with water so the majority of the pre-chiller is submerged. And then I connect it to our stainless steel chiller. So the chiller works great. and I got it to like the low 80s after about 20 minutes. Stirring with a sanitized spoon will drop the temperature significantly. Rack it to your fermenter using gravity or the pump again, and by this time after racking, the temperature has dropped to mid-60s. Pitch your yeast, and you got this, fam.
And it really gets away from, these big bulky systems. You want to pretend to be a commercial brewer. You don't need to. You can use this device at your house.
One of the big pluses of this system is that it's so easy to clean compared to the old systems. Like, this is a single vessel. Usually you have to clean 3 different vessels. You have to clean the mash, the boil, everything else. Here it's just like, clean that thing. It's so easy.
This thing is awesome.